that about as polar opposite a feeling being in a stadium for you?
Yeah, that was very different, vibes. You talking about Austin, or are you talking about Columbus?
Columbus.
Oh yeah, yeah. Very different from the first time. Being there. Man, that was a great win, great feeling. But we got work to do this week, and excited to have our fans back.
You have made it a point these first 2 weeks here where you're tackling guys all over the place, and I mean, Yak has to be combined under 10 yards.
Yeah.
How have you been able to do what you've been doing here?
Yeah, that's just honing in on technique, and that was something that I had mentioned earlier this week, and something that we needed to be really good at. And I think just in the off season, I worked on a lot of not necessarily tackling, taking all the way to the ground, but getting everything leading up to it. And I think strength is a big thing. Working in the off season and getting, I noticed getting my hands on guys, and they go down a lot easier than maybe last year, where I would be missing some arm tackles like that.
You said after the game that win wasn't really a surprise for you. You guys expected to win that game. What was it leading up into practice that you guys saw from yourselves that allowed you to be so confident?
Yeah, it was kind of a sense of calm from everybody, and I think we were talking about all week was that preparation was going to build confidence, and it was really a believe in the guy next to you type of thing, right? I had faith that everybody else was going to be doing their job, and it showed, in practice. And on Tuesday and then Wednesday, we cleaned up those mistakes, right? And by the time it was Saturday, I felt like everybody was going to do their job, and that just gave me the confidence. You know what? I just got to go do my job, and then make the play that comes to me. And I think everybody was on the same page in terms of that.
A lot of guys had to step up because people got injured. It's kind of just the nature of the game. How satisfying was it to see you guys kind of mesh well enough to pull it off and staying strong?
Yeah. Obviously, KT being down and Flo being down was a big loss for us. They would have helped us a lot out there, but it's always been a next man up philosophy. If anything, I think we came together over that fact. That it's going to have to be an 11 man game here on defense. We can't rely on Kayvon to go make a big play, or Flo to go make a big play, and so that emphasized us doing our job, every single one of us. And obviously, you saw a lot of bodies rotating in there, keeping guys fresh and stuff like that. So it was really focusing on everybody doing their job, and it we got the result that we wanted to get.
How important were those first few defensive stops, and in particular the fourth down one, to give this defense the confidence of confirmation that we can do this. We are in a good spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I started with that first drive. We wanted to set the tone, and they had some good plays, some big plays, but like he was saying earlier, it's about tackling, limiting the extra yards, and then when it comes down to it in crunch time, we can bend, but we never really broke, and I think obviously that first drive showed that, and set the tone for the rest of the day.
Tempo's bothered you guys each of these first 2 weeks. That's when big plays have been hit both games.
Yeah.
What have you been doing in practice to adjust to that, where even if Stony Brook doesn't employ it, just that you guys are going to be more ready against tempo, and they also hit you with 12 personnel a little bit in the second half?
Yeah, we won't let that happen again, and I think coaches owned up to that one. They took that as, what, we can't be given card calls necessarily when it's a tempo situation like that, and so we've put stuff in place immediately right after that game to make sure that's not going to happen again. And then as far as 12 personnel stuff, it's just getting adjusted, and first game, obviously we're going to have some mistakes like that. Didn't like to see it carry over to second game, but we won't let that happen again.
Tim used the dime package this past week. It's a little bit different than last year. Obviously you were out there for both ways, but Ajax is out there. He was out there last year. Right. But Addison was a deep safety this time. Right. The corner combination a little different. For what you can share, what is different in his dime package compared to what Andy was doing with you?
Yeah, I'm playing that same position in the dime package. I think it gives us a real athletic look. Gets a lot of our playmakers out there, good coverage guys out there, and speed all over the field. And so we can cover guys, but then if it comes down to a run situation, we're able to make that play. And a lot of cerebral guys out there too. So guys that know what they're doing, and then obviously great pass rushers as well.
DJ James stepped up and had, I think, that big pass break up in the end zone. What kind of a boost does he give to the secondary, having him out there?
Yeah, he's huge. Having him out there is a huge addition to our defense, and it just makes me that much more confident that that's another lockdown corner, across from Mikhail, where I don't have to worry, really about him giving up a deep ball or getting beat, on anything. So, this secondary is definitely something. The yards might not necessarily show it right now, but this secondary is improving fast, and I think we're definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Expand on that a bit, Bennett, because the numbers are what the numbers are, but you guys haven't been beaten over the top yet at all. Right. And I think that was probably one of the big goals of last week, was to not have that happen.
Yeah.
9 20-yard passes, but only 141, and it really wasn't over the top.
Right.
So while there's 300-yard receivers and it's 484 passing yards, 62 really didn't matter. How do you evaluate what numerically doesn't look good, but in a lot of ways really was?
Yeah. And we've actually been talking about it all week. That's still not a ranking that we're okay with, having so many passing yards given up. But at the same time, you look at the plays that they came on, and it's, a lot of underneath stuff, right? And so we didn't give up much of anything over the top, which is what Ohio State's bread and butter was, right? And you limit the big plays like that, and you give our offense a chance to, get back on the field and score and stuff, then it results in wins, right? Sometimes it's not how we want it to, and we want to limit those plays, obviously, and tighten down that yardage. But we've been 1-0, for the past 2 weeks now, so we're working, improving. Obviously, going to keep those big plays off the board, and then working on tightening down on the underneath coverage.
On the flip side, though, your run defense as a team has been really good. What's made that so effective? You feel like?
So what's the last
your
part
run
of
defense? What's made it so effective?
Yeah. Those guys up front, man, and for having guys banged up and stuff, I think that's a huge testament to them. They're doing a great job. Just physicality. We preach that, and we practice it. Tuesday, Wednesday, we're in pads, and most teams probably aren't going full speed, but we do, and we make sure that we get all those reps, and so that it shows up on Saturday. And they're dominating the up front right now. You see the line of scrimmage is being won by us, and that allows guys like Noah to play fast and scrape over the top, and limit those run game plays.
I think a lot of people were taken back of how physical your front line was against Ohio State from a media perspective that were calling the game. How much of a reward feeling is that? Hearing how good you guys are up front from a physical standpoint.
Yeah, that's big, but that's something we knew, I think. The Ohio State game kind of proved it on a national scale, but that's something that we knew, and we just had to prove it to ourselves, really, I think. And so that was big for us, and it feels great, but we got to ramp that up because it's going to be a long season. I got full faith in the guys, and we got a lot of depth of physical guys up there, and that's just the nature of our game. So I think we're going to be doing very well up there in the next few days.
A big moment for you guys in that game was that first drive that Ohio State had. They came out, got to fourth down. They said, we're just going to run it. We're going to go for it. How big was it for you guys to get that initial stop and the broad picture of the game?
Yeah, looking back at it, that was really big. Kind of setting that tone. They like I said, they got some plays, but in that first drive, but we just bowed up, and it happened multiple times throughout the game. I think there were 1 for 4 on fourth down stop, something like that on fourth down. So it set the tone for the game, and I think us being physical, they weren't ready for that, and so. I mean, really, it did. It set the tone of the game. That's about all I got for it.
Mario's talked about how he and the coaching staff have addressed things directly, and he calls it between the eyes with guys in terms of during the week, if there's any let up, if they sense anything like that, particularly like a week like this week. He has not been a coach so far here who has to use this as a means to communicate to players, where Nick Saban and others have. It's just different ways of doing it. On the field, we've seen it at times when we were out there, but we haven't been out there for a minute. So what is a between the eyes addressing? What does that look like for what you can share?
Yeah, That's why I love Coach Cristobal, and I love his his philosophy, the way he runs things around here. It gives, I think it's more personal, and guys buy in there. They're fired up. They want to play for him, especially when, okay, even if I do something wrong, something messes up, I hear it from him. That gives it's just a respect thing, I think. And when you have that respect for your head coach, you find guys playing as hard as they can. And I think that last week really showed how much guys buy into what he's preaching, and how much we respect him as a coach, and how much we play, how hard we play for him.
Go back to your own journey.
Last
Ben.
question.
Why did you redshirt in JUCO? Because you enrolled early, so why did you redshirt that first
So
year?
in junior college, I never redshirted. I played right away. I had redshirted at Illinois. So I was at Illinois my sophomore season, and got hurt, had an injury, and so that was my redshirt year. Yeah.